Alright, everybody, it's our Klaus here, and before I get into this really outstanding presentation for you, I want to bring up an interesting side note. So notice that I have pulled up for you here the analytics for the number of videos of mine and other people's playlists. So this is very interesting to me because the videos tend to average only about a dozen or so likes, but again, neither here nor there to me. The only downfall to that I really see is it might discourage people trying to get into this information from giving it the chance that it truly deserves. Instead, if they were to see numbers like those shown below here for the number of videos added to playlists, as you can see all the way up to 639 currently, they would be much more inclined to listen and see if the information resonates with them. So very interesting to side note there, and especially with videos like president equals is pretend. Remember, the word president is an anagram for that phrase, but 116 videos, or excuse me, 116 playlists that is currently in, and the video only has about 200 or so views on it. So it's very impressive to me. These are long videos. They take a lot of concentration in order to really understand what I'm getting at. And so again, just take a look at that. It's very interesting to me, and I also want to take it one step further and just have you see that of those videos, currently 1,623 of them are from people not subscribed to the channel. So as I've stated numerous times in the past, these videos are very popular, and the influence goes far beyond what is easily observable, and a lot of this stems from the fact that I mean, I'm honestly one of the few channels that should be considered, I guess, real, because I've been banned for talking about this information, and my previous channel was actually banned last year on November 9th. And so for the 1-year anniversary of that, it was so interesting for me to see Donald Trump get put into the White House as our president-elect. But so with all of that kind of in place, let's get into today's video, and I'm going to be cross-referencing my previous video rather extensively, so be sure to go back and watch that. It's an outstanding video, but notice that on the right side of your screen, we're going to come to that information about Mildred Suliman in just a moment here, but look at the left side of your screen. I want to talk about this being the 45th presidential election, or excuse me, Trump being the 45th president from the 58th presidential election. So take those two numbers and add them together and we get 103. Drop the 0, you have 13, the death card. Remember, talking about ideas such as transition, moving forward, and so forth, and then you reduce that. 1 plus 3 equals 4. The emperor card, again, restriction, government, law and order, all of those sorts of ideas closely associated with that card. So now that's going to be very compelling as we go here, and for those of you familiar with my videos, you already see all of those connections we've drawn in the past. And so let's look at a few other ways that we can do this. If we add 4 and 5, we get 9. This is the Hermit card. Again, immensely complex. You should look into it. Now keep that in mind. Then we add 5 and 8 from the number of election it was. 13 again, reduce it down as 4. So now let's add those two together. 9 and 4 are reduced values there, and it gives us 13. Again, there's our death card, reducing down to the emperor card. Now, if instead we were to take the full value of 13 here, instead of reducing it down, 9 and 13 gives us 22. Now this is the universe card. Again, very important, the master builder number, all of these things. Again, the card is actually labeled as the 21st card, but keeping in mind that 0 is included in the major arcana, making it the 22nd card there. So now again, one last way that you can read into that, 58 minus 45 gives us 13, the death card, and then reducing it down to 4, the emperor again. And so just so compelling to see how that comes into play there, because this idea of transition and the end of government, the end of restriction, all of those things seem to be very intimately in play here. But so now, before we go forward, let's go back a little bit. So notice here on the right side of your screen, Mildred Suliman. Remember, she is the president of the Hastings Center, which is the premier bioethics research institute, and so a very powerful position, very troubling to say the least. But notice there, the very first thing for her Jewish value is President Donald Trump. Now, we're talking about this in the previous video and saying that since this is all in conjunction with the 515 coding, that it would be likely that that would be our next president. So lo and behold, that comes to pass. Now, let's look at her English and simple values here, so you can see how just beautifully veiled all of this is. Alright, so I want you to see here the reference to Revelation 18. Now, if I take that as R and E, the 18th and the 5th letter of the alphabet, I get the number 185. Now, what's so interesting about this number is it is the same as Donald John Trump as far as a simple value goes. It's also the same as Book of Revelation, foretold by the Bible, the powers that be, and the masterpiece ion. So just a bit here, when we get to the Trump train, you'll notice here it's telling us to see the masterpiece ion. And so notice that we've done that extensively in the past. All of these same as values here are actually keystone pieces that we've researched over the past several months. And you do notice as well, this 185 comes up as a perfect illusion and mistaken for love, which again, no random occurrence that Lady Gaga was the one outside boycotting Trump's presidency right when it was announced there. And so we're going to talk about that pretty extensively later on. But for now, let's get back to Mildred here, because she's got a couple other things veiled. And so notice here, of course, we have this reference to read between the lines, which is obviously what we're doing with this sort of coding. But so you see here 936 written out. Now, what's so interesting about 936 is that it is the same English in simple value as Baron Trump, the name of Don Trump's son, who for some reason was standing by him when he was giving his acceptance speech. The kid was getting ready to like fall over. I mean, it was just a really hideous thing, I think, as a nation to even witness that that was allowed. But notice here that in the shots brought up for the top stories on him, Trump is giving his nice little 666 hand sign. And so what's so very interesting about that is Baron Trump, his ES value, as written out in Mildred's name there, is the same as 666, as well as 33, the phrase as above, so below, and biblical prophecy. So now how fascinating is all of that? And let's take it one step further here. Of course, you notice the planet Saturn, and notice as well this date of 12/20 given here. So I was actually talking about this in one of the comments, and so shout out to Ghetto Koala for asking me the question, getting me to talk about this. But the amount of time between when Trump is announced as president-elect on November 9th there until that date of 12/20, and remember all of this coming out of Mildred Suliman still, but that time span is 42 days. And so remember from Crowley's Book of Lies, that is the cursed number. And so D and T reduced down to 42. Remember, Don Trump. And so again, look through this comment, all the other comments for lots more interesting information and breakdowns on that. But so it's just so fascinating to see how just you notice it's layer upon layer upon layer here. Okay, so now I guess let's keep going here. Trump train where is it taking the dollar? Notice this is from Forbes. I do want to note that Forbes actually just had David Blaine come do a weird little special for them to promote his new I guess, little docu-show or whatever he does, the hour-long presentations on ABC where he's doing all of his magic. And the big bit for this one is him shooting himself in the mouth for the bullet catch trick. And what's so interesting is that on my band channel, I actually talked a lot about the connection between Donald Trump and David Blaine. And so I really wish those videos were still available for you to see, but unfortunately they are not. So let's just keep moving here. Notice Trump train TT. There's that 22 for you in both those words. 5 letters. There's that 55. We can add them and get 77. Of course, all of this discussed immensely in the past. Notice the Jewish value is the same as Horatio Greeno as well as Larry Gonick. The letter V is the mark of the beast. All of these things. So remember, Horatio Greeno is the one who constructed the enthroned Washington statue, which I've talked about so much in the past. Larry Gonick's Cartoon History of the Universe, very fascinating. Remember, this is a Harvard graduate that writes these books, very educated man. But again, that planet Saturn on his tie, all of the things we've talked about with it. And do remember, this is all from The President is Pretend, that V, the mark of the beast. This is the Queen of Pentacles card, which we've talked about again in the past. I just want to reiterate all of these things for you. And since this is on page 166 of the Book of Thoth, I wanted to look at page 166 of Gonick's Cartoon History, and it's entitled Judgment Days. And again, you see Barack being urged to arise, Barack, arise, by this woman. And again, immensely fascinating to me. So let's get back here. Do notice for some of these other bits you have reference to the Great Sphinx as the best teacher of all by the hand of Nema. Remember, this is an actual emergency organization here in the States, as well as this reference again to see the masterpiece Ion, which we discussed earlier. So notice the ES values here, same as Electoral College, Inauguration, Calera Morbis, and Bay Bridge Troll. Again, all things talked about in the past. Notice here the same as Liber Alve Legis. This is the Book of the Law. The number 555 is written out, as well as the number 396. So again, this is something that cannot be understated. It's the simple value for the phrase there is the dove and there is the serpent. Again, this is Crowley differentiating between the two forms of love. But notice here the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, as well as another government false flag operation, desires to dominate and control others, in the phrase worship or reverence of Satan as a deity. Alright, so very dark stuff. Very interesting. I also want you to see that when 396 comes up as the English value instead of the simple, it does have the 66 simple value, but you do see reference to Moloch as well as Abyss, eye damage, event, and planned. Alright, so fascinating stuff there, but keep going here. You see the reference here to divine justice, U.S. President, the word abrahadabra. We'll come back to that, but look here. Biotechnology, okay, this links us back to Mildred Suliman, okay, you see here, spirit of death, the wrath of God, this means war. The number 189, again a reference to here and everywhere. This is from the Pilgrims Society, highly influential secret organization, but you see there nuclear flames accident as well as the final curtain call. All of these huge things, America's Nazi secret terrorist force, again, fascism making a really big comeback with Donald Trump being elected president here. But so keep moving here though. I want you to see here it comes up one hit wonder and don't walk away. So what really struck me about that is that, and so again here's the royal goat for you. This is Batiste X, the current royal goat for the royal family, and again interesting to me because the 10th tarot card is the wheel card, the fortune card. You notice as well that Baron Trump is 10 years old. All of this garbage here. Alright, but so take a look here. Don't Walk Away, this kind of one-hit wonder song from the band Jade, right? Go figure. But the length, 4 minutes, 44 seconds. Get out of here. All right, just absolutely crazy for that. Do notice that US Billboard Hot 100 position 13, the death card. I mean, what are the odds? Notice it came out November 23rd, 1992. Okay, so that's just a couple of days from coming up on its anniversary here. But so now let's get back and keep going. I want you to see that the genre here listed for this is New Jack Swing, which is a very interesting genre name. But so if we take those letters and those words 3, 4, and 5, we can mirror and add them. We get that triple A. This is very critical. Now, New Jack Swing is the same English and simple value as Freemasonry, as well as general store, groupthink. And so let me pull this up for you over here so you can have this bigger mask of what we've got, but it's also, so let's go here, general store from Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Again, this is the big centerpiece here, killing and not being seen, the lie behind the assassination, the people who played role in it. Remember, this is from Lisa the Iconoclast, and this is just one of those split-second frames that they put in there. I know it's a little blurry, but again, split-second frame. This is actually general store right here, just like on here, just like shares that coding as well. Alright, so now just to reiterate all of this for you, this New Jack Swing here, okay, is what has all these same values. And so you notice it also has the same as pizza subs. Again, what appears underneath Zesties in the new intro for The Simpsons, in which the founder is impaled in the right eye with the ice cream. Again, this is Center to Pez theory. It's also the same as groupthink. This is what spills out of Badu's head after she's assassinated in Dealey Plaza in her window seat music video. Now, also very interesting is that this New Jack Swing is the same as Lenny Leonard, and so very interesting because remember that Lenny's character on The Simpsons has this weird bit where he has this running eye gag where he's also always getting shit in his eye, and we've talked about this in the past. And so if we take this one step further, New Jack Swing has 12 letters, and it's very interesting because Lenny in the Stonecutters, when The Simpsons is doing their mock-up of secret organizations, Lenny is number 12, alright? And so the 12th tarot card, the Hanged Man tarot card, a very complex card, but often having to do with the idea of sacrifice. Now think about all of those bits there, people getting shot, things going in the eye, and it really starts to come together. So now let's keep moving here. Notice for the Trump train, if we add that word in front there, remember T still reduces down to 2, so now we have a triple 2. This one, all of the letters total 13, and so we have the death card represented there. But notice here, reference to Brotherhood of Darkness, fascist dictatorship, the Great Sphinx yet again, and Solar Storm is a false. Alright, again, that would be a very brilliant way for them to dismantle a lot of things, but notice the English and simple values here. Again, go back and watch my last video because these are all lyrics from 515 songs. But do notice here that Order Out of Chaos comes up, as well as Mother Monster. Now, remember that that is Lady Gaga's big nickname, really, and she appeared in a Simpsons episode. And since we're talking about trains, it's so interesting that her whole stint in Springfield revolves around a train coming and going, but the episode titled Lisa Goes Gaga, again, all those words, 4 letters, there's your triple 4. But as I was noting, it's episode 22 from season 23. We reduce that down, triple 2 times 3, giving us that triple 6. And so if we add, remember this triple 4 from the title letters and the triple 6 from the season and episode, we get that 1110. So now why that's so interesting, you might ask, is because we were already looking at it, and that is absolutely right, the same as Donald John Trump, the masterpiece Ion Book of Revelation. Alright, there you have all of that for you. but it comes back again and again and again. It is such fascinating stuff to see the interconnectedness here. Now, do notice that we have as well this reference to the source of evil. Murder was the case. Obama's damaged right eye. You see economic meltdown. Again, this article about the Trump train is coming from an economic standpoint. And we also have a reference here to the Princess of Cups. Remember, in the past, we have talked about the Prince of Cups. Again, these are both very significant cards. This having a lot to do with the ideas of rapture and the whole process of creation being hidden in this card. All right, so now I don't want to sidetrack on that too much because I really want to keep moving here. All right, so as always, go through this information, see what really resonates with you. But now let's talk about something else that came out on the ballot on election day this year, and that was the vote to make a 51st state. And so let me get back over here. But so notice the District of Columbia is wanting to become a state, and apparently this has been a thing for quite some time here. I do have highlighted for you when I type this into Google, and again, take this for what you will, about 119,000 results. Again, the inverted 9/11 or 11/9, the day that the vote was, and do remember that they actually, this passed, but so 51 seconds, the 51st state, you clearly see typed in there. But so again, very interesting to me because as you see here, passed with 79% of the vote, more than, and it's just crazy. Here's some more. I'm going to leave you some links for it, that this is going on and no one seems to really be talking about it. But so again, getting back to Liberty Valance here, this is when John Wayne's character is about to tell Tom Donovan the truth about the night that Liberty was shot. And again, all throughout the movie, they're talking about statehood. And so with DC trying to get statehood, I mean, it's just really troublesome to me. So again, take a look at this over here on the right side of your screen on the phrase Farmers for Statehood, same as damage Obama's right eye, as well as I'm sorry Barack. You see reference to the secret conspiracy and United States is gone. So noticing down here, if you look at just vote statehood and statehood itself, you'll notice very troubling things. Okay, so for vote statehood, you have careless and violent, as well as war criminals, a satanic symbol. Down below, reference to the golden haired one. Okay, quite possibly Donald Trump. You see the number 11, fire worshipper, as well as the Ancient of Days. Of course, if we pull statehood on its own here, I do want you to see it comes up as Holy Grail, earthquake, the occult, you have shooting, and theology. All right, so now that English value of 642 that comes up there, I do want to pull this aside for just a second here because I know that it's come up very recently in Backbeat Books. Remember, this is the publisher for Maynard James Keenan's biography that just came out. And again, his coding immensely important. He will come up today. Notice there that Beware the T also shares that value. Remember T, the 20th card, the Aeon, all of these bits. All right, so now keep going. I want you to see here on the left side of your screen for New Columbia, you have reference again here to September 11th. What is chaos? Illuminati are against truth. You have written out the numbers 144,000, which is the same as Brotherhood of Darkness, as well as Golden Dawn, Hermetic Order, the Illuminati Project. Again, you see here Large Hadron Collider accident, same as 411 Elm Street. That's where Kennedy was assassinated. But get back up top here though, notice you also have 1044, another way that you can interpret that, and so this will actually come up later, but there you have Maynard James Keenan, so that pairs up now with the right side of your screen, but notice sharing the same as New World Order, the false prophet, number of the beast, there's that 1212, again keeping an eye on December 12th this year, but also reference to secret societies, political power, and so forth. All right, so now let's jump back here to New Columbia. And I want you to see here the coming star of destruction and the number of evil. So down below here, the English and simple values, same as great work, Red Lobster, remember that's from Beyonce's Formation. You also have reference to CERN Collider 56, the number 56 is the same simple value as the end, all right? And so, of course, very important phrase. This does come up in the beginning of Lisa the Iconoclast, and it actually appears on the screen at the end of Man Who Shot Liberty Valance as well. Notice here reference to the word will, as well as light, as well as colt, flames, so forth, all right, warn, all of these very important pieces. But so also here, just do it. Now notice here I wanted to pull aside 126 because from 1260 we get the number of evil, so I wanted to take off the silence and see what else we got. But notice here you get the number 45, just like Trump's our 45th president. We have 1111, there's that 22 for you, reference to 999, incredibly important. Earthquakes, the atomic bomb, there's 555 written out for you. Also have catastrophe, the end of days, and big business. Okay, so keep moving here. I want you to see if you repackage it as DC statehood, one of the ways they're looking at it, you have key, this is it, the most high, information, as well as I accept the mark, brothers, and criminal thinking. Now notice the ES values, same as Holocaust, as well as Zesties. Remember, this is from Lisa the Iconoclast, where she's getting ready to tell the truth. And so let me jump back here for you. Also the same as the Tower. Remember the 16th card. Remember back to 396 from earlier in this video. And there's the dove and there's the serpent quote. That is from that card's write-up in Book of Thoth. Notice here Kim Jong-un, current leader of North Korea, very troublesome person. But you do have references to New World, World War, as well as Keystone, 19th. Remember 19th letter S, the Sun card. You also have the beginning and DC earthquake. All right, very interesting to me. Of course, Claude Wagner, the man who died on the 77-year anniversary of the Pilgrim Society, was the law and order judge in Canada. I can't remember exactly where off the top, but very interesting. Go back and watch the video. So now let's keep moving here because I want to talk about a news story that I saw come out the same day that we were hearing about Trump's presidency. So it's about this artist, Arnold Mesches, who died at the age of 93. So that master thelemic number obviously got my attention. Of course, if we add that, we get the 12, the hanged man, all of those things. But so I want to show you a few of his paintings, and we're going to talk about him in somewhat depth here as we go. But so now notice here, AM, we get that 113, and so do remember that is the simple value for Salvatore, and we'll talk about it later, but 11 times 3, there's that 33. Both his names are 7 letters. There's that 77, and you can add them and you can just see how these layers pile on. But notice Jewish value is the same as mind control and make America great again. Now what are the odds that this man dies at 93? And it's not, you know, really, he died on the 5th, but the major reporting starts the day that Trump is announced as president. And notice in the picture here that you have the left eye darkened on him. And so, again, very troubling. Very interesting, full of lies, is preaching hate, the cross, and satanic dogmas. And of course, every time I hear the cross in reference to Don Trump, I think about this picture with him and Don King at Cleveland Heights. Again, the cross right behind him there, that ubiquitous red cloak, and again from Baroque paintings, and very, very dark concepts. All right, so now let me get back here. And let's keep going here with Arnold. I want you to see the English and simple values are the same as the Pilgrims. Again, look into this organization. Keep going though. References to the number 46, the same as Chicago, 640, which is the same as MJK. And so remember, those are the initials for Maynard James Keenan. And so I do want to pull that one up for you. So take a look at that over there. References to the Eye of God, the Secret Phase, the House of Death, and totalitarianism. But so again, references to stock market, civil rights. Okay, again, this is why they said that Mesches was followed by the FBI because he was very engaged with civil rights. Now notice here, Obama the Deceiver, Zika virus, as well as beautiful art, satanic message, and image of the beast. Okay, we're going to look at a couple of his paintings in just a bit here. But so now notice he was born on August 11th, 1923. Let's reduce these down here. 8 times 11 gives us 88. And so the year reduces as follows here. And you see it comes all the way down to 3, all right? And so very interesting there because we have then 33 for the year. Okay, sorry, misinterpret that for just a moment. So now 88 plus 33, our 2 reductions there give us 121. Now this is messed up because it's the same simple value as Don Trump, as well as the Antichrist, blood sacrifice, the Athenium, Revelation, okay, all of these massive pieces, the Great Seal, 7 seals. It's the same as tortoise, which appears on the Princess of Cups. It's the name of Erica Wright, aka Erykah Badu, in her movie The Land, which we've talked about extensively. Now keep going here. He's listed as having died on November 5th. So there's that 115 Law and Order number, and so it's going to be very interesting because notice that he died in Gainesville, Florida, and Gainesville has that simple value of 115. So we'll get to that in just a second here. But so again, notice we reduced that down to 55. And I just wanted to take that major report day on the 9th, and again, 11 times 9, 99. Add those 2 together gives us 154. So now 154 is the same simple value as the Antichrist, as well as the Law of Thelema, soft ice cream, okay, Queen of Babylon, and some other really heavy-hitting pieces here. Let me go forward for you. Mary Fishmas comes up, Cleveland Heights, which is where Don Trump was having his hand raised up by Don King there. Remember, they went against each other on MTV Celebrity Deathmatch. But so here's 154 for you. Notice all of the times it's come up for us here. Same as Kiss Love Gun, as well as Lord of the Flies, Restoration, all of these pieces. Okay, so now if we take both of these values, because his birth date and his death date both have coding for Antichrist in them, and we add these 2 Antichrist values, we get the number 275, which is the same simple value as 666 in the phrase I accept the mark of Antichrist. Alright, so wow. Notice here, Gainesville, where he died, reference to is death for the Antichrist. Okay, now you also have this reference here to goddess extinction. Remember Elenin, which comes up a lot. If we break it into 2 bits there, L is extinction level event, Nin is the Sumerian word for goddess, so death from above. Now notice here, again, these ES values, same as Law and Order, John Wayne, A New World, Freemasons. Remember, Donald Trump has essentially campaigned on this bit about being the Law and Order candidate. Remember, this year is the 114th anniversary of the Pilgrims Society, and on that day, July 11th, Trump says, I am the Law and Order candidate. Again, that pretty much cinched it for him there. But so again, notice here from his acceptance speech to run for president, he says he is he said Law and Order 4 times. Remember, the 4th card is the Emperor, and you even notice here that the speech, again, this is why I have to do screenshots for you because it always shuts me down, but was 1 hour and 15 minutes. 1:15, Law and Order, just like we're looking at here. Alright, it's very impressive to see how that comes up, and of course from Liberty Valance here. This is the Athenium, which we saw the coding for just a moment ago in that picture. But so Law and Order behind Rance Stoddard there. Centerpiece that we've talked about so much. Lady Gaga's new album, track 4 is actually John Wayne. I know, not even shitting you. And of course you can take John Wayne's name. You know, it's not even go into that. We've talked so much about him in the past. I really want to keep moving here. So notice here, ES values reference to rest in peace, blood work, Twitter, as well as the number 58. Remember, 58th presidential election, also big deal. It's the 58th year that NASA has been in operation. All right, so now keep going. Gainesville, Florida, full on where he died, reference to Jonathan Collier. Remember, this is the writer for Lisa the Iconoclast, big centerpiece here. But let's take a look here. You have reference to Apocalypse chapter 8. And if I break that down, ACE, I get 135. Now, that's a huge deal. And that's going to come up again here in just a moment, so stick with me. And notice down below here, ES values, same as Pilgrim Society, as well as Atlantis Cable News, Creative Control. Remember, this is from Badu's video, Maisha So Long, Last Trumpet, Right Eye, all that we've talked about. Atlantis Cable News from HBO's The Newsroom, ACN, reduces 135. If we mirror and add that, as they often do on this show here, you get 666. So that comes up. And so notice as well here that it's also the same as Lady Gaga Sanitation, which I got from looking at this picture. We're going to talk about this a lot more towards the end, or it might actually be the part of a new video, depending if I run out of time here. But do notice the duality, the caduceus over here, the double serpent coming up, and of course her dualistic sign with love and hate connected in there. But so again, we're going to get to that more later on here. But so do notice that it also comes up the same as Anomie 88, and I'm going to get into that later, and it's going to help segue us into our next bit here. Alright, but so again, concepts such as the master builder, signs of deception like what she's holding, methods of madness, there you have 444 written out for you there, deconstruction, and so forth. So now that article about about Arnold Mesches that we're looking at, written by William Grimes. And so William Grimes has the same English and simple values as Trump Train. Alright, so that would bring us all the way back up here. And you would see again all of these references to spirit of death, wrath of God, okay, all of the bits that we already talked about with that. And so jumping back down here now, William Grimes, it's 13 letters in both those names. There you have that death card again. And notice here, W reduces to 5, G is 7, so that gives us 57, which is a huge deal. So do notice down here is the simple value for Anomie. Sorry if I butcher the pronunciation of that, but so this is a series of paintings from Mesches, and so now notice here this is still from the New York Times article, and this one entitled Anomie 2006 Dog-Eared, but notice the ice cream cone, okay, and all of this important symbolism that we could easily start picking out of there with everything from skulls to tigers being hidden. But notice that the Jewish value is 135. Now this is a major number that we've looked at a lot in the past, but again from Apocalypse chapter 8, 135, we were just referencing that there, okay. But so now do notice here for the ES values with that 57 coming up, references to moon, rose, abrahadabra, ice cream, okay. Now I've talked about this a lot. This is from the Stonecutters episode, but again they take over an old Baskin Robbins and it's their new headquarters. But if you look at this word Baskin Robbins, it's 13 letters total, and so you could look at that as the death card right there, reduce it down, 1 and 3 is 4, just like 31 is 4, you have a nice 44 right there. Furthermore, if you wanted to do it a different way, B is 2, R reduces down to 9, so 2 and 9 is 11. And so then if we take that 11 times, right, 13 letters here, 1 and 3 is 4, 11 times 4 is 44, 31 reduces to 4, so you have a nice triple 4 buried in Baskin Robbins 31. Remember as well that 31 is the secret hidden code within the book of the law. Very important stuff to keep in mind. In any case here, we've talked so much about the ice cream connection in The Simpsons. I mean, everything from Ralph impaling his eye with it in the new intro to this whole episode that they did where Homer became an ice cream man. And again, previous owner dies of a heart attack. He puts the rose on there, all of this shit. And so anyways, keep going here. I want you to see for Anomie, or Anomie, that one of the ways it's defined is the lack of the usual social or ethical standards in an individual or group. Okay, so when we take it further with the definition, you see they write it as a condition in which society provides little moral guidance to individuals. It is the breakdown of social bonds between an individual and the community, i.e., under unruly scenarios, resulting in fragmentation of social identity and rejection of self-regulatory values. Now, which way do you think that the nation is heading right now? Right, big question there, and you see it. So now we're going to look at some of these paintings here. So notice that for Anomie series A1S19, there you have that 119 or 99, both words 6 letters, so there's that 66. If we add 99 and 66, we get 165. And so again, this number is huge. It'll come up in just a bit here. So do notice, same as I Came to Slay Bitch, as well as Take My Life Please. That's the first episode with the new intro on from The Simpsons with Ralph impaling his eye. All of those things. Last Trumpet, but so we'll get down to that. But notice here, for the Jewish values of Anomie series, you have the Age of Satan, Saint of Death, Intentional, all of this, alright? English and simple values, same as the phrase Kill Trump. It's a very popular tweet for a moment. Also the same as the Rapture, Walt Disney, the Most High, Hidden Message, 135, alright? Just like appears in Anomie, alright? Huge number, just like all those reductions, okay? Keep going here. If we look at the full title for that painting, Anomie 2006 Dog-Eared, you have reference to USA, Chosen One, and Fraud. Notice as well Police Force and Eating Flesh. Down below the ES values, same as Slipknot, Black Bill Gates. Again, all of these quotes from Beyonce's Formation. Remember that song does have the 666, 111 values on it. You'll notice as well here the references to Powerful, Royalty, the Black Sun, Nuclear War. Again, talking about the Black Sun in reference to being a metaphor for an actual assassination, taking people's inspiration, their hope away, all of those things. So now notice here, for the way I'm getting Anomie 8 here is just adding 2 and 6, the year that is given. Of course, zeros don't give us any value. But so do notice for that, though, reference to the comet Elenin, as well as Republican, Traitor, Cruel Fate, Critical Timing, Social Engineering, Dark Council, and the Final Conflict. Now here's the ES values. That 165 coming back into sight here. Notice again, United Nations, Resurrection, Divide and Conquer, Tree of Knowledge, Nuclear Fission, and Change is Inevitable. You'll also see Rule Everyone and references to Yellowstone, which we've talked about. So now Anomie 8 just pulled aside on its own for a second. Notice the letters. AE gives us 15, the Devil card. It's 11 letters total. It's the Lust card, okay? Massive. Notice here 264 is the same Jewish value as Cootie Rock. This is the director for Erykah Badu's window seat video where she's assassinated. Alright, so notice here the gods, Beast King, Death Snake, and Cain's Mark. The ES values for that there, same as Evolving. Remember, this is scrolled across. Badu's back when she is assassinated. It's a tattoo of hers. As well as Whacking Day, when we learn why the Simpsons worship the serpent. So notice here, Divine Plan, Nuclear Bomb, Beast of Death, Snuff Film, as well as Fox News and Destroy. So now, Dog-Eared, again, this is a part of just breaking down titles systematically to get as much information as possible. References to False Flag, Magic Aeon, and Real Magic next to Name of Ball. Notice the ES values here, same as Fuck Me, as well as Joanne. Remember, Lady Gaga's new album title, okay? Again, these references to Elenin, the Lemon, the Lie, Tobacco, Shiva, so forth. All of this just absolutely massive. So now, I pulled aside Ice Cream Cone here for you because somewhere in the article about him, it talks about that ice cream cones were one of the really big things that he was into drawing, and so this is another one of the Anomie series here. But so notice again that ice cream cone. That for you is one of the few phrases I haven't with ice cream. So do notice here the Jewish value 234. If we mirror and add it, we get that 666. But those values coming up with ideas of falsehood, the mark, the big lie of the CIA, and chief of police. And so remember that Chief Wiggum is the chief of police on The Simpsons, and he has that ES value of 666, 111. Just like Formation, High by the Beach, Hotline Badu, Iconoclast, and Illusion. Again, all of that referential towards big singles that we've looked at, and again, it's no surprise that they link up in that manner. Now look down here, the ES values for this, and again, you can see same as Sasha Fierce, Queen Bey, Mike Will. Again, I've been talking about him a lot. Even think about the Mannequin Challenge and the song that is synonymous with that. It is a Mike Will song, and so absolutely no coincidence that they're sure to really lace him in there. But in any case, check this out. Reference to November, Terror, the Magus, Third Eye, Judgment, Skulls, the phrase do the math, esoteric, and eggshell. So if you do the math here, for 564 and 94. Notice here we get the 114 originally, and so that was earlier in this video when we were talking about DC Statehood, Zesties, Holocaust, New World, all of those bits there. In any case, 9 and 4 simples, 13 death card, 4. When we reduce it, put them all together, 4, 4, 4. Alright, so now keep going here. I want you to see for this other painting that we have pulled up, this Anomie 1991, I believe it said. But so take a look at that, the decapitated head, just like the decapitated Jebediah Springfield that we're always talking about here, is man coming out of all of this stuff. But so take a look. You have reference to the end times Son of Man revealed through gematria, prophecy, fulfillment of the Word of God. Get ready for a takeover, kiss me goodbye, and starts November MMXVI, which is 2016, alright? You put that together with the November from the ice cream cone, and you start to see just a little bit more. Alright, now notice the ES values here, same as Ruth Hogbin and Andrea Jalardin. Remember, these are the directors for Lady Gaga's Perfect Illusion video. Look at the right side of your screen, but again, references to the Great Transformer, being told to find Solomon's Vault, and so again, Solomon's Vault is the coding of 1188. So you notice the Brotherhood seal, the United Nations, history repeats, as well as the last trumpet, all things are revealed, end of the Antichrist, the resurrection, the second 9/11, weather modification, and the Scottish Rite. Alright, is an absolutely massive number. And so again, notice here, it's always calling me is the same value for that as well. It's off the cover of Badu's. But you can't use my phone. Again, something we've looked at extensively, as well as the phrase wanted for treason. Again, please watch the Pez Theory videos. Alright, so now let's get back to the left side of your screen so I can keep cooking through this. Do notice here for the ES values for this new painting we're talking about, reference to Antichrist president, creative destruction, the 7 continents, dictated by authority, and the calm before the storm. So now looking into ice cream cones. Alright, now this is a big deal, adding that S on the end, the 19th letter is very big. Now notice here, number of letters per word, we have 355. Remember, that's 1220 this year. That links us back to the beginning of the video talking about Mildred Suliman, okay? And again, you see reference to human DNA, as well as promise, fixed, aeon of silence, Obama, lightning, and the killing machine. Notice the English and simple values here, same as Salvatore, Eric Lee Hogue, and Miles Davis. Of course, Salvatore, the premier Lana Del Rey song we've been looking at, and you have Mayor Eric Hogue here. Remember, he's the one who really got HR 642 into motion, started dressing as a clown at 15, the devil card, all this stuff. We've talked about him very extensively. Notice again, he's a member of the Dallas Magic Clubs, hanging out with David Copperfield there, mentioned 8 times in the Magic Bill. Remember, Charles Dickens, a 8th book was David Copperfield. And so again, just keep moving here because there's so much information. Apocalypse, Neron Caesar, the Creator, Trumpet, Miles Davis was right? And so look here, the Sun God, the Name of God, the Hand of Fate, and Moonlight. So now again, reducing down the numbers here from 1991, we get 11. So Anomie 11, Winged Victory gives us the same English and simple values as HR 642. That is the magic bill. Okay, so now notice again, 666 comes up. Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Having been drugged and disoriented, pharmaceutical corporations, the phrase abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Again, from Dante's Divine Comedy. Remember all of those words, 6 letters, and Obama even referencing that the presidential elections reminded him of the Inferno. So just very important. Look at this. These are the facts of the matter. Keep moving here though. Anomie 11, break them down again. 1 and 5, 15. 1 and 5 gives us 6. Both these words are 6 letters. There's that 66. You put them all together, you've got a nice triple 6. Notice the Jewish value, same as Linford, Lenny, Leonard, Lenny's full name on The Simpsons, same as the Executioner and Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Notice the ES values for that are the same as Illuminati, Living Legend. Remember that's what David Copperfield is listed at. It's the same as Hic et Ubique, which is the Pilgrim Society's motto in Latin. It is for here and everywhere. Notice also for the architect, hidden master. You even see Matthew Brady, who made the very famous painting of Abe Lincoln. It actually also appears in Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. But so again, looking at Lenny's whole eye gag bit here, and just see how all of that keeps coming back, but very, very important here. All right, I got to try to finish this up in just a few minutes. So Winged Victory, pulling it apart even more. So many wicked humans on earth. Humanity worships Satan, and serpents don't know the Creator's plan. Very true. Notice the ES values here, same as Maynard James Keenan, as well as James Herbert Keenan. That's his real name, is the same as his stage name. That's really fucked up. You also see the same as The Wait Is Over, Walk With Me, Lord, and Dorothy Parker, all very big. We did actually talk about this earlier, all right? So again, you see here, New World Order, the False Prophet, Number of the Beast, as well as the Age of Aquarius, Secret Societies, and again, all of these massive pieces. You even see Lucifer, Jesus, and God, that whole trinity playing out there. And so I want to keep going though, and of course do remember that you should absolutely watch my video on Keenan's biography. Again, that nice hidden hand there. I really did a thorough job breaking that one down for you. So now the two Anomie paintings that we looked at are from 2006 and 1991. So it's a 15-year difference in those titles there, alright? So now I want to add my reduced values from the paintings. Remember, we got 8 from 2006 and 11 from 1991. So if we add 8 and 11, we get 19, which is the Sun card. Huge deal. Or if we multiply these, we get 8 times 11 for 88, which you can reduce as 64, remain the same as Thelema and Klaus. Can reduce it all the way down to 1 there. Again, you should absolutely familiarize yourself with these cards so that you can be doing your own interpretation as I'm going here. Okay, so now what's so interesting is that Anomie 19, again, if we were to look at it just adding those values there, you would see that it is the same as Tom Donovan as well as Nason Dorma. Now remember, this is the last song that Luciano Pavarotti lip sync in front of everybody at the 20th Winter Olympics, the XX Winter Olympics, the 6-6 if you reduce that 24th letter. But so in any case, you do remember that Tom Donovan is the man from Liberty Valance who John Wayne plays, the one who actually shoots him. But so again, notice on the right side of your screen I have these values pulled up for you, and you can see it's the same as the number 93. Remember, that was the age that Mesches died at, who did these paintings that we're looking at. Remember we were talking earlier about tobacco as well as the lie, and this is John Wayne telling Rance the truth about what really happened the night that Liberty was shot in front of the general store. Remember as well that Choo Choo Chump is what pops up in the 27th Treehouse of Horror when Ralph is the first to die. Again, CCC 333, but we've looked into that very extensively for you in the past, alright? But so it's also very important to notice things such as the hexagram name, the big picture, kills the beast, and judgment days, alright? So remember, think all the way back towards the beginning of the video on page 166 and all these things, but judgment days, the very top there, alright? So absolutely fascinating. Let me get back on track here. Alright, so now getting back into this, I told you we were going to talk a little more about Lady Gaga's Sanitation popping up. And so notice here for that coding, you have Puppet Masters, Obama Executioner, the Fate of the Large Hadron Collider, and Umbrella Corporation. Notice her ES values are the same as Gainesville, Florida, Pilgrim Society, right? All those bits we talked about earlier, signs of deception. So now notice here, Sanitation, what appears on the truck that she's standing on. And I guess I'll pull this picture up for you while we're talking about it. Maybe. Alright, there she is. Alright, so you can see all of this for you here, just that nice reminder. But so in any case, Sanitation, same as LaShawn Thomas. Remember back to my video on Sade. This is the guy who put that tweet out to check on her, all the shit that never checked out with those numbers. But notice here, Antichrist, when I say never checked out, I mean didn't make sense with the way I described it. Go watch the videos. But notice as well, takes the mark, another false flag, demonic fascist, shed blood for man, the annihilation, and conspiracies. The ES values are the same as Vesti de Juabwa, which is put on the costume, and again this is reference to Luciano, but notice as well beware the Aeon, the DNA secret, Great Deceiver, as well as Hermeticism, King of Kings, Twin Flames, and the end is near. So now notice her sign, love trumps hate. It's the same as true love's kiss. Conceptually, this is massive. You see here the Illuminati Project, United States concentration camps, Second War of Independence. You see the devil comes to let it bleed, as well as preaching pure hatred and bigotry, world terror, nuclear devastation, decryption of Masonic messages, and ongoing strife and division. Alright, what exactly is that all representing? It's very obvious. Notice the ES values here, same as 777, as well as Donald Trump blackened, military complex, first degree murder, the solar serpent, and approaching the deadlines here. Alright, so now just two more bits. And again, I advise you to pause and look through. I only have a few more minutes to finish here. Anti-Trump protests, again, we take those letters ATP, they reduce to 1 to 7. So now, let's see if I can get this one up for you really quick here. 1 month, 2/7, yes. All right, so now take a look here in between these dates. Again, the 17th of December is a date that we've been looking at extensively, and you'll notice that the amount of time in between the release of Lady Gaga's Joanne and that 12/17 date is 58 days, or 1 month, 27 days. Remember, so very interesting because 58 is the simple value for Lady Gaga, and if we take L and G, we get 127. All right, you see, that's critical. And so keep moving here though. On the left side of your screen, execution by beheading, never-ending madness. All right, this is absolutely the road that it seems like we're going down. Now the ES values are the same as I got hot sauce in my bag, swag. Notice here, huge references, 3 days after a full moon, pull out all the stops and the walls begin to tumble. One thing leads to the next. There's truth to be told. All right, and I want this last bit here. Not my president. All right, this links us back. It's 14 letters. The art card. Remember, December 17th will leave 14 days remaining in this year. Very important. It marks the anniversaries that we've been talking about with the nuclear fission and the bombs and all of that. But notice here, not my president gives us that 135 again. All right, and so I'll talk about that more in a sec. But look, evil incarnate, Clown, bringer of evil, let them be destroyed, seal of sun / Saturn, as well as regeneration of the decayed. This is all a joke. The number 351, which the 351st day of this year is actually the 16th of December, so I believe that's actually the day the new Star Wars comes out. Definitely something to be said there, but again, marking the day before, very big deal. Of course, the 352nd day, as I talked about, December 17th. Go watch those previous videos. But you can also rearrange these letters as 153, and remember that this is the 153rd Thanksgiving that's coming up here, since Lincoln declared it a federal holiday. And so 153 is the same as in the right eye, as well as the Illuminati, Purpose Plan, Sacred Lesson, Vital Secrets, Erica Wright. This is Erica Badu's Twitter name, and it's also the same as Tangerine Dreams, again from Del Rey's Salvatore. Now, excuse me, look at the English and simple values down below here, same as Luciano Pavarotti, alright? Huge deal here. Also the same as the phrase, I know the pieces fit. Do you remember my first video debuting back on this channel was assessing Tool's Schism, which came out on the 135th day of the year that it came out, and all of the incredible things I've talked about with it. But you also see here now references to CERN, Super Collider, There Is No Coincidence, The Future of Earth, Seven Trumpets, Volcanic Eruption, Los Angeles, California. This phrase, same time next year, which I can't decide, is something that is referential towards last year, and this is right that time from last year, or if it is for next year, but it feels like it's impending here. And you also have this phrase, goodbye, I love you, which is very interesting because you had that bit earlier saying, you know, kiss me, I'm dying. And so that's what I have for you in this video today. I know I had to rush there a little bit at the end, but so this is the bit here I wanted to say that get ready for a takeover, kiss me goodbye, and starts November XXVM. Excuse me, let's go back there so you can see that. So from Anomie 1991, Winged Victory, The Jewish Value, Get Ready for a Takeover, Kiss Me Goodbye, that's all one phrase in there, and starts November MMXVI, remember that's 2016, and all of these massive pieces that I showed you in there. So I'm going to leave you some links for this. Again, notice these, sorry, that's from something else that I'm not going to end up doing for you today, but again, Los Angeles we've talked about so much. Even if we just look at L is the 12th letter, A is the first letter, it brings us back to that 121, which remember is the same as the Antichrist, as well as blood sacrifice, Don Trump, the Athenium, Revelation, top secret, right? All of that stuff. So interconnected here. Keep an eye out on those dates that I've highlighted for you. Take your notes through these videos. Again, thank you so much for everybody who takes the time to watch these videos. It's truly a lot to consider, but I feel that there is a lot to glean from them. So again, thank you so very much, and please be well.